We're learning here now Halakha Psuka, Chok Israel, Parashat Noach for Friday. העושה מלאכה בערב שבת מן המנחה ולמעלה, a person who does work on the Shabbat Eve, in other words, Friday afternoon, מן המנחה ולמעלה, from the time of mincha onward, אינו רואה סימן ברכה. He does not see a sign of blessing from that activity that he did, from that work that he did. In other words, once it's a time to start getting ready for Shabbat, time of mincha in the afternoon, the person should be preoccupied with preparations for Shabbat rather than being involved in any other type of activity like doing work. And if he does work on Friday afternoon after the time of mincha, then he doesn't see a blessing from that work. יש מפרשים מנחה גדולה ויש מפרשים מנחה קטנה. Some explain the time of mincha in this context to mean mincha gdola, which is half an hour after the middle of the day. And some explain mincha ktana, which is the small mincha, which is 2.5 hours before the end of the day. ודווקא כשעושה המלאכה דרך קבע, and we're talking about this only when he does work דרך קבע, in a set way, in a way that is קבוע, he does it regularly. However, אם עושה אותה דרך ארעי, if he does it just incidentally, just that time, לפי שעה ולא קבע עליה, and it's not a fixed practice, that would be permitted. ולכן מותר לכתוב איגרת שלומים וכל כיוצא בזה. And therefore, that's why a person would be permitted on Friday afternoon to send a social letter or do anything similar, because something that he's not doing regularly, just, it's an incidental thing that happened. But in general, we celebrate Shabbat as a very special day of every week. Shabbat is a time that shines its beautiful light onto the rest of the week. How do we keep Shabbat? There are many laws. But one of the aspects of giving honor to Shabbat is dedicating time to prepare for Shabbat and to be focused on the preparation rather than dealing with any other activity on Friday afternoon. לתקן בגדיו וכליו לצורך שבת. To fix one's clothing or different types of vessels that he need for Shabbat, specifically for the Shabbat, מותר כל היום. It will be permitted all day long. והוא הדין בגדי חברו אם הוא לצורך שבת ואינו נוטל עליו שכר. And the same thing would apply also if he was to fix, let's say he was a tailor and he's fixing some clothing for his friend who doesn't have what to wear on Shabbat, so he's doing it lichbot Shabbat, that would be permitted if he doesn't take for it a payment. In other words, if he's repairing, he's doing some alteration to, let's say, pants that is needed for Shabbat, and he's not getting paid for it, he would be allowed to do it. And the same applies also for someone who's writing books for himself, for the sake of his learning, or in the course of his learning. According to the Rama, מסתפרים כל היום אפילו מספר ישראל. According to the Rama, you're allowed to cut your hair anytime today, even from a Jewish barber, because obviously that's preparing for Shabbat. According to the Rama, that would be permitted. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen.
Now, if you do mincha ktana, it is recommended, maybe I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's recommended to